And now on to the next tool to run AI on your local computer, LM Studio. And this is available at lmstudio.ai. Notice here it's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux, just like Ollama, which is pretty awesome. But notice it says for Mac M Series. Well, that's because you do have to have an M Series Mac to run these things. As far as I know, you can't run them at all on an Intel Series Mac, unfortunately. But you can run these on all of these environments. They run great, and it's awesome. Now, this tool is a little overwhelming when you first load it up, but that's what I'm here to walk you through, to show you how to use it, how it works, all that kind of stuff. Notice in the feature list, you can run LLMs on your laptop entirely offline, which is exactly what we're learning about in this course. Use the models through in-app chat UI or an OpenAI compatible local server. You may not care about that unless you're a developer, but if you're a developer, this has a server built in so you can write software against it. It's OpenAI compatible. It's pretty awesome, so it's a super cheap way to do development towards an LLM. But if you're a content creator, not a programmer, then it doesn't really matter too much. You are going to have a very familiar chat window. This one is a little bit more intuitive, a little more user-friendly than Ollama. Let's load it up and check it out. So I've got LM Studio loaded up here. And the first thing you need to do is you need to find a model. Now I have a whole bunch of models here, but what you can do is just go over here to the left-hand side, click on Discover, go over here and you can find a good model to take a look at. Now we talked about model sizes before, and you can see here that we have some of the same ones available. We have that Llama 1.2 billion parameter model. We've got a 3 billion, etc. We've got Quencoder, on and on and on. The list here is even huger because most of these come from Hugging Face. HuggingFace.com has a ton of different models on it. So let's just grab one of these here. Let's see if we can find one that's a little bit more geared towards writing. Something like Gemma. Now here's one, Gemma 9 Bill. We'll say use in new chat. And if you don't have it downloaded, it will download it for you. Now, down here at the bottom, it says user, power user, and developer. So I had mine set for power user before. We'll just set it to user. Let's look at how this works. Well, as it turns out, using this, once you have your model and you go up to the top and you select which model you want to use, then this thing is exactly like ChatGPT or Claude or any of them. You have this here and you say, outline a YouTube video on how to care for your lawn. Hit send. And here it's coming up with this YouTube outline, upbeat music and engaging visuals, of course, know your grass, mowing mastery, watering wisdom, feeding your lawn, etc. Instant content generation, right? And you can also attach things, which is pretty cool. Okay, and I'm going to load up an article here from my website called How to Create an Empty String in Python and say, evaluate this article. Suggest improvements in how it is organized and check spelling. Make this article more engaging and fun. Something like that. And I can upload my own article to this. And here we go. It shows me my strengths, covers multiple methods, basic explanations, weaknesses, repetitive and dry. I can't believe it said that about me. Probably true though. The language is monotonous and lacks personality. It reads like a technical manual rather than an engaging tutorial. See, that's one of the cool things is AI is like an agent, like a reviewer that reviews your content, but is not afraid to hurt your feelings. Poor organization, limited practical examples, uneven depth. Suggested improvements. Inject personality, user more conversational tone, reorganize for flow, etc. And you could even do something like this where you say, with a lot of these models, you can say, rewrite the article and display it using the advice given. And here we go. It's taking my article and spitting it out, making it more impressive, more fun, right? So these are the ways that we're going to, in this community, we're going to talk about this a lot, using AI to refine your content, make your content better, make it more engaging, make it more meaningful, things like that. So you can do that here. Now, what's the advantage? Like, what's the difference between doing this and ChatGPT? Well, LM Studio is my own private little service, right? So let's say this article is something I'm working on. I don't want the whole world to see it. I don't want everyone to see this stuff until it's done. Or, you know, maybe I don't want ChatGPT to have a storage of all my articles, or I don't want OpenAI to have this data. I don't want Anthropic to have all my data. Whatever else, the privacy part is really important to a lot of people. And so this here is just on my own computer. It's not being sent out anywhere else. I did check just to see what kind of traffic goes in and out of these tools. It's nothing other than updates to see if the software needs to be updated. But this is a good way to kind of refine your content, generate new content, generate ideas for content, all of that stuff like you'd usually do with ChatGPT, but instead you can do it with all these different models, and there's a ton of them. Here's writing part. We'll start another chat here. Writing partner, Mistral. Help me write a short story about a guy who runs a unicorn ranch and wants to become a race car driver. And here we go. The assistant comes back and says, John had always loved horses, so it's no surprise his dream job is working with them. And here it's just writes a short story about a guy that runs a unicorn ranch and wants to become a race car driver. Cool stuff. So this model is, because it's called Writing Partner, this one is focused towards writing. A lot of these are focused towards code, things like that. I like to use the writing ones mostly for kind of refining and using them as like an editor or an agent or something like that. But you can do all of that with this LM. And I said, you can go here to Power User, and in Power User, you know, we can search for different models. There's a developer version. This may not mean anything to you, but if you're a software developer, you can spin up a server right here, OpenAI compatible, start writing code towards it, throwing it. And once you get everything neat and cool where you like it, then you can deploy it out and connect it to ChatGPT, for instance. But you don't have to pay each time you hit that server when you're doing development. So you can sit here and develop against this thing for free. You don't have to pay per token or any of that wild stuff. Like I said, only really matters if you're a developer. We have my models. Here's a selection of the different models. Right now, I'm taking up 49 gigabytes of disk space. So that's why I say, be careful with some of these models. Some of them are ginormous. And why? So why use a different model? You know, that's a really good question. And that's because each of them are geared towards a certain purpose, or they just do things differently. So Llama 3.2 model, probably one of my favorites right now, but Gemma is really close. They're both open, you know, general purpose models, just like ChatGPT. Use them for this, or this. You know, they're not tuned towards anything, but they're kind of competing with each other to see who can give the best results. And you'll get two different results out of those. So yes, we have Gemma, we have DeepSeek Coder for coding folks, etc. And you can just kind of go through these, download them, or if you find one you like on Hugging Face, you can do that. And it's pretty cool. It shows down here RAM, how much RAM it's using, how much CPU we're using, stuff like this. Clear all messages. And again, this thing is totally private, which is great. Let's select another model here. The 1 billion model. Now, notice when I select the model, there's some stuff. You can just leave this alone if you want, right? doesn't even matter. But if you want, you can change how much of your CPU is it going to use. What is the context length? Now, context length is the maximum number of tokens the model can attend to in one prompt. So that means if you're having this thread going, eventually it will say, hey, you know, this conversation's gone on too long. We're out of context length. And so you got to start it over again. There are a lot of reasons why you want that context to happen. Like you don't want to have to tell the model in every single prompt what you've been discussing before. So it's helpful if you raise this a little bit. But as it says, setting a high value for context length can significantly impact memory usage. So all that stuff's going to go straight into your memory. But you just put in load model. So now we're loading up this Llama 3.2 1 billion model. Tell me a funny joke. Bam, this one's fast, right? 1 billion, super fast. 70 billion, not quite as fast. Right? And this one gives you all of the little tokens there at the end. So it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. You can load up presets if you want to make changes to your model. You can make changes to it. We can say like system prompt. According to the help, use this field to provide background instructions to the model, such as a set of rules, constraints, or general requirements. One of the things that I do here is I say structure a YouTube video for me. I'll dump in a list here of principles that I want it to look at. I want it to look at engagement. I want it to look at the amount of time I'm using, etc. Put that in there, and then it's going to evaluate what it generates against that. There's also settings like temperature. We talked about temperature in the previous video. You can switch it there. There's also top K sampling, repeat penalty, all these deep down things that you pretty much just need to ignore until you're ready to go to that level of tuning. Structured output. You can put a JSON schema in here to enforce a particular output from the model, which is awesome. You can even make notes about your conversation as it goes on. You can say, oh, here's something I liked, here's something I didn't like. So LM Studio, really powerful, really cool. It works just like the chat interfaces that you're already familiar with. It's pretty great. You can be as simple or as advanced as you want. It runs on your desktop. I've run this on a Mac Mini M1. I've run this on my laptops. The faster your machine is, the faster the large models will go. However, with that 1 billion parameter model, it's run fast on everything I've put it on so far. But I just kind of wanted to show this is how you set up LM Studio. So set it up, find a model, run it, and let me know in the chat, in our community, what you think of this and how you're using it.